Good afternoon, guys, ladies and gentlemen, Facebook family and friends, and YouTube subscribers. Got a question for you. So I'm a black guy, 42 years of age, just out of a relationship that lasted for 17 years. I'm single. Been single for a little while now. And you're out, you're meeting people, you're trying to date. It's very hard to do in Atlanta for some reason. You want to meet guys, you want to go out on dates and do stuff, but you run into a brick wall. And the brick wall is sex. I meet guys all the time who want to have sex, but not necessarily want to go on a date or to a movie or even have a relationship. So I'm not really into one-night stands, or not really that type of sexually active individual. So what do you do? How do you handle the consistent amount of people who approach you for sex, but not necessarily a date? But you might like the person. You might find the guy very attractive. I meet attractive guys all the time. But I'm kind of like stuck in a place where I have to make a decision. Do you have sex with someone that you really don't expect much from? You're not sure if you're going to get a relationship out of it, even a date or something out of it. You might get some sexual gratification. Or do you... I guess what I'm trying to say is, how do you proceed forward with meeting guys whose main interest is having sex, but you're more interested in having a relationship of some sort? How do you move forward? What do you do? Do you entertain the guys who are interested in sex? Or do you just dismiss them right off the bat and keep searching and looking for somebody who might be interested in dating? Or do you possibly take up some of these guys' offers and maybe let's try out sex first, and then maybe it could lead to something more? I know we're in 2012. The dating game has changed tremendously since when I was single many years ago. But for some odd reason, I have a very tough time meeting individuals who want to go to movies or dinner or a restaurant, but they want to have sex. Now, I meet very attractive guys who will call me very late at night, invite me over to their place. But if I were to ask for, like, let's go to a movie or dinner, they don't want to do that. They're more interested in sex. And the interesting part, the reason why I'm doing this video, because I've met so many guys like this. I've met so many of them that it's kind of, I don't know if people are afraid of relationships, or they're afraid to date, or I don't know. It's just very odd to me that so many guys are just interested in having sex. I mean, that's all they want to do. They're not interested in trying to get to know you, at least initially. They're not trying to. As a matter of fact, I think that sometimes when I tell guys that I would prefer we went to dinner first, or we went to Starbucks and had some coffee, or we went someplace, they actually get offended, which is kind of odd to me. I mean, they get offended because, well, it's almost like I'm rejecting their sexual desires. I like sex just as much as the next person, but I have my concerns about having sex in an era with HIV numbers skyrocketing through the roof, various STDs for which they don't have a cure for. So I'm nervous. So for me, it's kind of like I can't just jump in bed with every man that I meet. I mean, that's just not who I am. But I have a lot of friends who have great sex lives. They don't give a damn. They're just like, hey, they don't care. But I've never been that type of person. I've never been a sexually active individual like that. I've always been in a relationship of some sort. And sometimes it scares me because I'm thinking, well, will I ever be in a relationship again? Especially over the past few years, my track record has been pretty terrible for finding someone who wants to date me or go on a date. So I'm thinking, should you have sex? Should you, if you meet somebody attractive and they want to have sex, should you start there? Is that how the game is played today? Should you start with sex and maybe try to push it to something else? I mean, am I going about things wrong today? Is it wrong to want to go on a date? Maybe we should start with sex and then we end up at a movie theater after a few sexual encounters. I don't know. I'm asking these questions because I really don't know. I think a lot of you guys are probably out there doing more stuff than me sexually, so you would probably have more answers than I do. But for me, it's a tough road out here. It's kind of like that no one's interested in doing the things that I would want to do. A movie, dinner, maybe some drinks, some laughter, get to know each other. They just want to jump right into bed and ready to have sex. And I've had this happen so many times that concerns me, that I think the dating game has drastically changed. And that the average individual, the average guy is just out here only interested in having sex. At least maybe initially, maybe that's my question. Are people starting with sex and then taking it to other things later on? You start with sex and then you go to a movie and then you get to know the person afterwards if the sex is okay. Is that how the relationship? I don't know. But I want to get you guys' opinion. I'm very curious if you can give me your thoughts and opinions upon sex and dating in 2012. Should you start with sex? Is that the starting point today? Give me your opinions. I'm very curious. I'm just very curious to know. Anyway, if you like my videos, please click like on my videos and let me know what you think about them. And give me some responses and comments. Anyway, thanks guys, and you all have a great day. But I am looking forward to hear what you guys have to say about sex and dating in 2012. Where do you start at? Do you start with sex? I want to know.